Hey, Alec, really glad to have a chance to talk with you and share your story with some other people. And as always, I'll let you introduce yourself and your background.
Okay. So thank you, Troy, for inviting me, and I would say thank you for making Course Careers as a whole because it really did change my life in a positive manner. So a little bit about me. I'm Alec. I'm 22 years old as of right now, and my background doesn't have anything to do with corporate. I was a warehouse worker, retail, and just doing other things like delivery work. And I saw Course Careers. I tried it out, and after about 3 months of my own intense studying, I was able to make it into a BDR role, and it actually was a really positive direction.
Yeah, for sure. So you're 22 years old now, and you've been working all of these different types of jobs. Did you go to college and get a bachelor's degree?
Actually, I didn't. I went to college for maybe a semester, and I felt it wasn't for me. So I dropped out when I was about like 19. So I've just been working my entire time.
Wow. So you started working in like retail, warehousing, heard about Course Careers. And right when you found Course Careers, did you go through the introduction course and like were you skeptical or did you enroll immediately?
So yeah, I actually was skeptical at first because I couldn't really see a course teaching you everything that you need to know for an entry level position that when you see like the descriptions, it says you need like a degree for. So I was like, okay, it's kind of skeptical when I watched the introductory course. I like hearing about your backstory and seeing where you came from. So okay, it's kind of I like that you didn't go to college, so it gave me more assurance. And then after I actually just looked at more online and seen some like influencers that were in it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So let's go through your experience going through the course. So when you enrolled, how long did it take you to finish?
Um, I would say that it since it is at your own pace, I tried to push through at 2 weeks. I had my own complications, but I would say I went through it at a fast pace in 2 weeks. But I think going back and redoing it, I would say generally a month and a month and a half would be the best time frame to like really digest everything. Mainly if you have time to dedicate to it, but I shouldn't say no longer than 3 months to finish it realistically.
For sure. And do you feel like you learned a lot about sales when you're going through the course?
Yeah, actually, I think it covered a lot of different points. A lot of different things that I noticed that you could use that you use in your day to day that I didn't realize at first. And that's what I like. And I like that at any point, if you get confused, you can just go back to where you were confused at and rewatch it and relearn it.
And was there anything in the course that you think was confusing or was like complicated, hard to understand?
Um, I would say not necessarily. I think if anything, maybe specific questioning tactics like understanding spin was my personal not my strongest point. But other than that, maybe understanding the CRMs, but that's because CRMs are company to company based. So other than that, nothing really.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And yeah, all that tech stuff, like the tech stack companies use, you can get really into the weeds with it. But as long as you have that overview of what it is and how it works, I mean, it goes a long ways when you're applying and interviewing for these companies. So did you say you finished in a little over 2 weeks, or it took you about a month?
I finished in 2 weeks, but I had complications. I liked how you did the proctor online. It let me go back to specific points where I messed up or things that I didn't understand. So I had to get a computer to finish that. But I would say 3 months was when I finished everything. But I would say if I did it again from start to finish, probably a month. I would finish in a month.
Gotcha. Okay, so without any complications, could finish within a month. And once you finished the course, how many companies did you end up interviewing with?
So actually, which was this might be a very lucky, but in my first day, I ended up like applying to about 55 companies, just applying, seeing what fit, and I got one interview, and then about like two to three other ones were like interested, but I already was interviewing with one company, so I would say in total probably three to four.
Gotcha. So you only applied for one day though. So you finished the course, applied to all these companies, and then you ended up getting a job from that first batch of companies you applied to the day after you finished.
Yes.
Yeah, not a bad deal.
Not at all.
And going into these interviews, were you confident that you knew what you were talking about?
Um, yeah, I think that personally, I am like I'm an overthinker, so I had to do my own personal studying again. But like generally,
Yeah.
if you come in confident and know the material, you will pass it for sure. And a lot of people are interested in the name Course Careers because they haven't heard of it as yet, but they like the initiative of going through a course and seeing that you were willing to do that. So it's really good on your resume.
For sure. I mean, compared to other applicants that don't have the training, it's like a night and day when you apply to a company and they see course careers. You actually know everything there is to know about how to do the job and be successful compared to 100 other applicants who have no idea. Uh, I mean, it's a night and day difference. So you're interviewing with this company. How many interviews did it take to land the job offer with them?
I would say three. Three, and it was pretty fast. It was a pretty fast process for me.
And so how long do you think it took from start to finish from your first interview to securing that offer?
Um, I'm pretty sure this might be an outlier, but it took me little under a week, but it could take up to a couple weeks as an average, but I did do it in a week.
Yeah. And have you ever worked in sales before?
Not in the traditional sense, but I did retail and things like that. But other than that, no,
Okay, so no professional sales. And have you ever worked in an office before?
no.
No. So no degree, no professional sales experience, never worked in an office. And the company you apply to the first day after finishing course careers gets you an offer within a week of finishing. I mean, come on. That's a pretty good deal. I think most college graduates would wish they could have outcomes like that. So I think that pretty much proves just how seamless this process is. And could you share us a little bit more about the company that you decided to go with?
Yeah, so it was one of those things that it was kind of a shot at the dark at the first time, but then when I started doing more research into it, I actually liked it. That's one thing. Make sure you are applying to places that you are interested in. So they're a no code automation platform, and the things that they can do is pretty much endless. So that really like racked my brain on the things that I could do, and I was like, wow, like it's this the literally at that point it's shoot for the moon and then reach the stars with that company. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely what I'm going to try and shoot for. It's a really fun company. The environment's great. Not at all what I'm expecting, and remote is amazing to me. So
Wow, so it's a fully remote position.
yeah, and what's cool about them is they flew me out. So I'm usually in California, but I'm on the East Coast right now training with them. So that was cool of them to fly me out to meet everyone and do all that. So that's something I never would have thought I would have experienced 2 weeks prior. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you've been working all these basic jobs, and now you have a company paying for you to fly across the country to get trained. I mean, that's a big jump.
yeah, yeah.
And could you tell us a little bit more about the offer? You don't have to share like specifics on compensation, but maybe some high levels about how much you could expect to make in your first year and benefits and all that.
So generally, I like you said, it will be like company based. I would say a general rule of thumb is if you happen to live on the West Coast, it's usually more expensive. So if you are getting an offer from the East Coast, it'll generally be tailored to the East Coast, but anywhere
Mhm.
from like 40 to 70K OTE. Some companies might do uncapped commission. Thankfully, mine is. And then benefits, I thankfully get really good benefits, dental, health, and all that. But I'm pretty sure that might be standard in a lot of different companies that I've seen. They have a lot of like health and benefits like that. So you get taken care of at this point. As long as you're putting in the work, you will be taken care of. So that's what I like.
For sure. And do they help you set up like a home office or laptop or anything like that?
So yeah, so far I've been provided a laptop. I've been working on that for the past 3 to 4 days, and then in terms of like a home office, not necessarily, but I did get supplied like a monitor and like this and that. But I already had a like a little setup, so it was really cool to get another monitor and then like a keyboard and laptop and everything like that. So I don't have to supply anything.
Wow. And how does this compare to working in retail or in a warehouse?
It's terrible. Those jobs are terrible because of how you put in a lot of work and a lot of hours, and yet you don't get like the compensation you feel like you deserve. You can knock out like 100 boxes at a warehouse, but you're still going to get paid the same. Or someone else can work just as less than you and still get paid the same. Here, it's you decide to crush it that day, you're going to get rewarded effectively, and you're always learning something new. I always get ready, and I come home like I'm completely off the clock right now, but I feel like I want to learn more about the company and how to better myself. And you don't get that from like a retail or warehouse job. So it's amazing.
For sure. I mean, it's really transformational, and the fact that you're only 22 and now have this great job and career path. I mean, how do you think that's going to set you up for success over the next 5 years of your life?
That's where it excites me because I just how I said 2 weeks prior, I never thought a company would want to fly me out across the country. I can just imagine like if I ever become an AE, that what will happen then. So I just realized that I am only 22 and there's so much more I can learn. And then talking to all these people who are much older than me and much more proficient in this, talking to me at eye level instead of like talking down to me or anything, it really excites me on my venture. And you feel like a
Mhm.
person, and not like a number. So I really like that. So I'm excited for the future.
For sure. And how do you think your personal life will change now that you have more income and freedom working from home?
It's gonna be amazing. 22, and then I'll be able to move out, get my own place. And remote, being able to have the freedom to be anywhere I want and work at the same time. And if I decide to put in extra work that day, I get rewarded for it. The possibilities are really endless that I think about that. I'm like, wow, like, today might be hard, but like, it's going to be worth it. So at that point, I can't give a direct decision, but it's amazing. It's a cool path that I'm going to be going down.
For sure. I remember when I first started in sales development and I was living at my parents' house and then I could finally afford to move out. I mean, that was
Yeah.
huge for me. So, are you excited for the transition?
Yeah, that's my main thing. I was like, wow, I'm excited to be able to actually afford the move out, and then like any extra income I get, I can put that into savings or anything else I want. Like it feels good. It really feels good. It doesn't really hit you until probably a weekend, and it's just now hitting me that I'm on this path.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. And the fact that, I mean, you could have completed this course in a month. The company you applied to the first day after you finished interviewed you, and then you got an offer within a week. I mean, that's it's hard to beat that. And now you completely transformed your life, working fully remote, getting paid well for it with uncapped commission, full benefits, able to move out of your parents' house. And now you're on this amazing career path at only 22 years old. I'm sure a lot of people would love to be in your position right now. So, what would you say to all the people watching this that think what you did is amazing and want to do it themselves?
Uh, a quick little story. If you really don't believe that it can change your life, I would say definitely do research. Always do your own independent research. But I was a delivery driver on break looking into this, and I was making about like $18 an hour in the hot weather. It was 101 degrees, delivering about 300 packages a day for 12 hours. And now I work 8 hours a day, and I get paid way more than that. And I have the
Yeah.
potential to make a lot more, and I can work anywhere. I could be in California, I can be in Florida, and still get my job done. I'm not stuck to one place. So I'm just going to say you have to take a risk, and it's a worthwhile risk, and it's not too expensive. That's what I liked. I like that it wasn't expensive to where I couldn't theoretically finish it. It's a $500 investment into your future to make more. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better way you could spend $500. Like, I mean, the return on investment of starting a high-paying career in tech for only $500, like even if you invest into the stock market and double your money in a year, which is incredible, you still it still doesn't compare to the
Yeah,
investment you can make here, like a 500x on your money.
yeah.
And do you plan on traveling around the country or maybe even going out of country since you are working fully remote now?
Yeah, that is my plan. I plan to move out soon, so then I want to save up there, but then I do want to end up being like a traveling nomad while being able to do my work. So that is my goal. I hope to travel the country and other countries too, and that's a possibility now.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad to have you share your story, Alec, and I'm sure a lot of students will get a ton of value from it. So thanks again for doing this.
Of course, Troy. Thank you for making the course. I really like that.